Good afternoon. Where did Maisha go? Maisha. Before Katherine and I get started, I know a lot of you were in Katherine's previous presentation, and we're going to do the dog and pony show next. Maisha is here to talk about the Parent and Family Program. This is a fairly new-ish program at UCLA, and has just moved over and is now housed at Alumni Affairs. So I want her to get up, but she's come off her deathbed to be here today. Oh, okay. So she's going to be talking to us, and then she's going over to the outside of California meeting, and then she's going back to her family, right?
Yes.
Chicken soup for the soul.
Absolutely.
Maisha Beasley.
Usually I don't need a microphone. I am a pretty loud talker. I come from a large family, so trust me, my voice carries. But I am a little bit under the weather, so I appreciate you all taking the time just to hear a little bit about parent and family programs, just a little bit about myself so you know who's talking to you. I have been here for almost 4 years, so I came in the fall of 2011 to UCLA to work directly with parent and family programs, and my background is in orientation, new student programs, parent programs, diversity programs. And this is actually the 4th institution that I've worked at. So I've been at both large publics and small privates over my tenure. And this is going into my 15th year of working in student affairs as a professional. I know people always look at me and go, yeah, right, 15 years, it's true. You can check my license afterwards if you need to. And I've also dedicated my education to working with families. So, and it comes really from being from a big family and my mother being completely immersed. I went to San Diego State because I'm from the Bay Area, so that was the furthest part. It was furthest in California. I couldn't leave California, so I went to the furthest location that I could possibly go, and she found me there. She became part of their first Parent and Family Association, and she went to become the co-chair of the first Parent and Family Association, and then she would just show up in the Vice President of Student Affairs press box for games, and I'd be like, what are you doing here? And she'd be like, oh, I'm not here for you, I'm here for the food, get some and leave. All right, thanks, Mom. And who knew that my career would come full circle to work back with parents, and I absolutely love this population. Some misnomers about parents that I just like to get out there right away is that helicopter parent syndrome. People often ask me, like, why is there a program for parents at UCLA? It's such a big campus. Students should be able to forge their own education and make moves for themselves. And I really don't believe that that's true. I really believe that parents are a resource and a great resource to students while they're here, because oftentimes, especially now with technology, they're talking to their parents more than ever before. I always talk about how I talk to my parents once a week from 6:30 to 7 on Sundays, and that was it. And I made sure that my desk shift started at 7 p.m. on Sundays, so that I had to cut it off. But now students are talking to their parents all the time, and so as they're talking to their parents all the time, we've really created an office that helps them to resource their students, right? So we're not really wanting to take over. We're not helping the helicopter parent syndrome, and we're really helping parents to resource their students. So just a couple of, I'll talk about our resources, I'll talk about our volunteer opportunities, and then I'll open it up for questions. If I'm going too fast, because I also have the propensity to talk pretty fast, you can just kind of raise your hand and go, slow it on down, and I'm okay with that. So first, the resources. We have a helpline, an email assistance, and we also have folks will hit us up on Facebook. So we have over 5,000 fans on Facebook, over 5,000 likes, and we post to our Facebook twice a day, every day. So we post events that are happening in the local area, we post things that are happening on campus, we post when bills are due, we post when registration is happening, we post when finals are due, and it really helps parents to share things with their students. And it's really funny because some parents are not Facebook savvy, and so they'll tag us back when they really meant to tag their student and say, Jeremy, look at this. And we'll be like, Jeremy's not here, but let's help you get this information over to Jeremy. We have a helpline, and our helpline, when I first started, our helpline was receiving probably anywhere between 100 to 200 calls a year. We have upped that. We're now receiving about 300 to 370 calls a year. And if you know anything about helplines and how you might be on the phone for 2 minutes or 2 hours, those are a lot of touch points. And then we went from receiving right about 50 to 75 emails a year, and now we're up to about 200 emails to 250 emails a year. So we have really grown our program in terms of people calling just to get questions answered, to understand, what do you think the biggest things they're trying to understand are? Now I'm gonna look at Vito. Tuition, absolutely.
What classes they're taking?
What classes? What other things do you think that they're looking for?
Acclimation. Acclimation.
Acclimation, yeah, how students are acclimating to life.
Healthcare.
Housing, absolutely. That's the number one. Healthcare is number 2, right? How to waive SHIP, how to waive the insurance, and is my student going to be on campus? And so when we are able to answer those questions for them and we take care of them really well, they know that their students being taken care of really well. So those are the baseline, that's the help piece. In terms of volunteer opportunities, any parent whose student attends UCLA is by virtue a Parent and Family Association member, but if they want to get a little bit more involved, they can become a Parent and Family volunteer. That means they volunteer for events that are happening in their local area or on campus, such as our Parents Weekend, orientations, things of that nature. If they want to be even more involved, they become part of our Parents Council, which our very own Vito is not only a Parent Council member, but on our Parent Council leadership. So if you have any other questions about Parents Council or parent volunteers, he definitely can answer those questions for you. And these are folks that are really involved. They come to meetings 4 times a year. They host events in their local area. They host events here. As a matter of fact, today is Coffee Social Day, and we are hosting 60 coffee socials around the world as we speak. So these are peer-to-peer interactions between parents across the world. So we had one in London earlier today, and we've had two in India, and one in South Korea, and one in New York. So our parents are hosting these events all around the world. So there's lots of opportunity for involvement. They want to be involved. One of the things that we hear back from parents in our Coffee Social Survey is, how do we continue to be engaged? And that's where you all come in. There's no way that a staff of 3 could put on 5 coffee socials a year. But we know that you're doing regional events all the time, and we love for our parents to be immersed in those events that you're putting on. So that's really the reason that I'm here. I put some of these brochures on each table for you to take a look at, and you can kind of really familiarize yourself with all of the programs and services that our office offers. I also have some of my cards over in the corner over there. If you would like to pick one of those up on your way out and like to have a conversation with me about how we could collaborate and work in tandem to involve parents in your local area, I'd be more than happy to do that. This time I'd like to take any questions that you may have. Yes?
So let's say we have 2 or 3 events we'd love to get the parents involved in, make them feel part of the community. I'd assume that the EA mailer, you guys have a list that we can go to of the parents in that area?
Absolutely. EA mailer is our friend. EA mailer is our friend. Any other questions I can answer for you? Okay, last call, questions, comments, concerns, grievances, good jokes, hopes, wishes for the future.
Feel better.
Thank you so much. That is a great hope for the future.
And just as a reminder, if any networks here do send-offs? Okay, parents are not only invited to be guests at send-off for new freshmen and transfer students, but also to help out at events. So Maisha is a great resource. We work with her very closely, and it would be great to have a lot of the parents at your send-offs. They're great help, great resources, information, and parents love to talk to parents of current students. So, first day of school, the students are getting their books and they're going to their classes and they're meeting people. First day of school for Downtown Network.
And everybody can do something around the BSC week and the games. This is actually something that the area is really successful with. They have about 300 people that came out to their game watching party up there this year.
I thought this morning that Julie said that Spring Sing was the evening of Alumni Day. You have two separate dates there.
You are correct. This year it is the same day. It is the same day. To talk about DSC Week, Steve, you from West Side, you did a USC UCLA thing this year.
That's right. We partnered with the USC Alumni of LA and did an event in the Mid-Wilshire area that we combined on Wednesday during rivalry week. It was pretty successful. I think we had about 120 people on both sides, pretty equally balanced. And we did it as a fundraiser for our scholarship.
Okay, and no fist fights?
No fights? No.
Yeah, I mean, just to add, I think there's something fun to do, like, because I was approached by a Bruin late last year. It was too late to try and plan it because it was only like 2 weeks before the game, but to try and plan some kind of a fun social event with the SC alumni, locally, just during BSC week, just sort of fun social. Like, I know DC does like a trip, like they've done trivia for like the last year, good trivia week back there. Just like, I know I want to try and do something this year for the Bay Area at least, to try and have some fun, not just the game watch, because the game watch is great, it's fun, we have a lot of people that show up, but it's something fun to do, like you guys were mentioning in Spirit, so it's fun to do, just a challenge, you meet other alumni.
I've seen a network do a softball game versus the SC.
Anything where you can find that's like social and spirit versus you hang out with the SC people, and it's just a fun little challenging, everybody kind of rips everybody else and you have a good time.
Here's a fun fact for you. The Julie Sina over at UCLA, at SC, he's a Bruin. We have a Bruin running the USC Alumni Association. Yep, true. The Golden State. You have lots of opportunities, 360 days of sunshine. So go ahead.
So, and the beauty and the advantage of being in California, no matter where you are in the state, you're always surrounded by Bruins. I go to Safeway on a Saturday night, I run into a Bruin. I go to the gym, I run into a Bruin. That's our advantage. We run into Bruins constantly throughout our lives at work. My neighbors on my street, I'm in Northern California, we've all got our UCLA flags out on game day. But also think about what other organizations you belong to. Are there Bruins there?
And if all else fails, go to Costco. Because you will run into Bruins there. You know that, I know that, it's a fact.
Just bring a alumni bag and
There you go.
you're going to run
There
into
you go.
Bruins.
So we want to hear some of your success stories. I know, Denora, we only have about, 5 minutes? 5 minutes? Denora said 5 minutes. So what are some of the things you've done that you're really proud of? Okay, San Diego.
We have the La Jolla Playhouse, and we're very fortunate that the CFO at La Jolla Playhouse is also one of our board members. So he actually notifies us in advance if there is an alumni that's in a performance. And so for the past 2 performances where we had an alumni involved, we've had a meet and greet with the alumni either before or after the production, and then we've all watched the production together. Most recently, we had the Hunchback of Notre Dame at the La Jolla Playhouse, and Tom Schumacher, who's the head of Disney Theatrical, came and spoke to us, and he is also a UCLA alumni.
I know Pasadena Playhouse does that as well. I don't know if you get that, Connie, but if you get on their list, they will, and let them know that you're a Bruin. They will send you what productions they have and who's the Bruin in the productions. Usually, there's always somebody.
Okay,
at
that's great.
Pasadena Playhouse.
That's great to know.
Success stories. Steve Cortez, I'm going to call you out.
I was about to raise my hand.
Steve Cortez, Southeast Network.
Yeah, our success story. Recently, we hosted our first book club meeting, and we had it for the southeast side of Los Angeles. And it was kind of not last minute. We had some planning things for the support, and we had 10 people come out, and which, to my knowledge, is pretty good.
For book club? Yes.
However, there's some enthusiasm, there's some excitement, and the group itself, people that we've never seen. These are fresh faces, and if it wasn't for the email blast, we wouldn't have had these people here. We had our own, network and internal, networks. However, this was from that, email blast. So our Facebook blast as well. And I think it was a successful event. People were very excited, and it seems as if they're excited for the following book club meeting to come, and so I have work to do along with the board. But yeah, I see that as a success, the beginning of much more to come. So.
But to your point, new faces.
Yes, exactly.
New faces and those people
And
become volunteers.
those that did not show up that day, I was approached by 2 other people, actually emailed, following up, wanting to know when the next book club meetings. And those are also new people trickling in, so that's definitely great to broaden our base.
Steve, you got your West Side Network.
A couple different success stories. Last week we had 2 events that were giving back to current students. So we hosted an alumni transfer panel with the Bruins Resource Center, where alumni got to sit on a panel, talk about what it's like to be a transfer, and a bunch of transfer students showed up to that, so that was really well received. And the people who were on the panel felt really happy about being engaged to give back to the students. Then on Saturday we had an event with the Alumni Scholars Club, where we had alumni pay $10, they got a drink, and also helped pay for the food for the alumni scholars. And it was great to see, we had about 2 students for every alumni, and so they got to talk during, before the game. That was horrible. And then one last success story, which is Angela Sanchez, and is she around still? She's an employee here. She helped us get into the Magic Castle, so I took the board to thank them, took the entire board over, and she's a magician there, so she gave us a tour of the Magic Castle. So it was a way to say thank you to the board and everything they do.
Did you figure out how to saw the lady in half?
No.
In the Bay Area last year, I just moved there, and we had been approached by the group salesperson from the San Francisco Symphony and said, hey, we have Alumni Night Live, we would love for you guys to come. So I wrote him back and said, sure. They organized, and we organized UCLA Alumni there night. And at the time we were still using Bruins, sent out an email, we arranged for a tour. We had like 90 people come. And, I sent a survey out afterward and said, hey, what did you like about this? What did you not like? We had a little reception beforehand, just kind of off in a little corner of Davies Symphony Hall. And, I sent out an email to people like afterward, just a brief survey saying, oh, what do you think? What kind of stuff would you like to see? What would you like to do with this event in the future? And people said, oh, we would like a backstage tour. We would like to see more arts events. And even tonight, there's actually a symphony event that I think we have over 100 people going. And we arranged for a backstage tour this time. And they threw in a reception room for free. So, people are really excited about it.
That's great.
Yeah.
John?
I had a very strange event happen last year on the occasion of the Blue Shield meeting. And it so happened that I invited a friend of mine who used to be the head track coach here, Bob Larson. And this occurred like just a few days after the Boston Marathon. And it was won by a Bruin, Beasley. It so happened that there was a problem with the speaker that night at the Blue Shield, and Bob was there just as a guest. But it turned out that he filled in for the speaker, and he ended up giving a mile-by-mile analysis of the race that Meb won. First American in over 30 years.
And a Bruin.
And he, it was really interesting. Meb was not ranked as to finish higher than about in the 40s. He won it, beating a world-class field, possibly the best field ever assembled. So that happenstance just occurred, and during the talk, which Bob just gave off the cuff, he introduced the idea of Bruin Strong. It started appearing.
That's great. That's great. Well, we've got to wrap this up. We're getting a sign that it's time for cocktails and it's time for dinner. So we want to thank you all. Katherine and I are here. Feel free to come
We're
up,
here as
ask
your
us
liaison.
questions.
We're doing this constantly in our network, so we're hearing what other groups are doing. We talk, our team talks on a weekly basis every Monday morning. We're exchanging ideas. So approach us if you need some event ideas. We're here to help you.
Approach us if you want to give us your ideas.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.